Hey everybody, welcome back. So in the garage today we have a Powermate 206cc overhead valve generator. Let's see if I can find a model number on it. Looking on the back, it looks like a model number PMC1435000.01. It's pretty small. I might have had that not 100% accurate. It says it's made in 2019. And AC voltage is 120. AC rated current is 29.2. Is there any wattage listed here? Running watts? Don't really see anything. Oh, here we go. 3,500 running watts and 4,375 surge watts. So this belongs to a neighbor. She said she bought it a while ago for a hurricane, never really used it. It's been sitting on her back porch. Said she hasn't used it in years, so she asked me to just get it running for her. So let's see what's going on. First step is to look inside the gas tank, as always. This one has a fuel gauge, and according to the fuel gauge, the tank is half full, which is not a good sign if it's been sitting for years. Oh boy. This tank looks like it might be a rust bucket. Hopefully not. Let's see if we can get a look inside. I should probably glove up, right? It doesn't smell so hot in there. It smells like old gas. You know, I'm just gonna leave that. So we have probably about 2 gallons of really old gasoline. So you know what's probably wrong with this thing as well as I do. The carb is probably all messed up. All right, let's take the air cleaner cover off and see what we're dealing with in here. Hopefully the air cleaner is not falling to bits. Probably got one of those foam cleaners, and those things just disintegrate after a couple years, especially when exposed to nasty gas. Did they really design this that you can't open it? Okay. This one seems all right. Let's shoot a bit of starting fluid in there and see if the motor's a runner. Give it a little shot of that stuff here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the motor will run. It's a good sign. Let's get this carb off. A 10 millimeter. And that one is interesting to get to. Don't have a straight angle on it. I lied, just need to use an extension. So now the air box should slide off. Unless there's another, oh, is there another nut somewhere? I don't see anything. It might just be the years of sitting that's holding it. Anything down here? Oh, there's something on the back here. Feels like a screw. Right back there. Looks like an 8 millimeter. Let's give an 8 a shot. I realize you guys can't see anything, sorry. I think I'm going to get this box down here out of the way. I think that's for evaporative emissions. Probably some kind of California thing. Maybe you Californians can chime in. Also a couple 8 millimeters. How rude of me. much better shot. I don't know why this faster isn't on the other side. Chinese clones, right? A lot of hoses. Gonna go ahead and shut the fuel off. Should be in that position. It's been on all this time. I'm gonna remove the clamp that holds the fuel line onto the carburetor. Right here. Just gonna do that with a pair of pliers. Now, let's see, we can work on getting the carburetor off. Probably just give it a little tug, right? There shouldn't be anything holding it now. There we go. Choke should just lift right off. Now take note of where your throttle linkage and this little spring that takes up the slack in the linkage. Only really one place for them to go, but just make sure you know where they go. Normally on the clones you have to pull the carb out a little bit and that just pops out. And same thing with that spring. So now aside from the fuel line, our carburetor should be free. Got a little glass jar below the fuel line because there's probably going to be some fuel in here. So we'll just twist it a little bit to break that seal. I think we might end up replacing that fuel line. Let's drain some of the gas out, see what it looks like. Doesn't look horrible, honestly. There's some water, actually, yeah, it does look kind of horrible. Some, looks like some water in there. All right, let's pull the carb completely off. We'll go to the bench and we'll disassemble it. Here goes nothing. Let's take the bowl off. I did drain the fuel out before I came over here. All I did is loosen this 10mm and just drain it into that same drain pan. Still a little bit in here though. Let me go dump this out. It actually doesn't look too horrific, to be honest with you. The jet looks a little bit fouled, but again, not horrific. Let's just unscrew it. Yeah, the jet and the emulsion tube came out very easily. Now we'll remove this bad boy here. And then we remove this plug. All right, that's about all the disassembly you need to do. I want to put the small parts, especially the non-magnetic parts, in here, so they don't get lost. Almost lost the main jet. We'll throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Got some warm water in simple green ready to go. Throw our carburetor in this basket. Like that. Throw the bowl in here as well. And keep our small parts in here so we can retrieve them easily. Let's hit start. See you in 20 minutes. So cool to watch. Tell you, this ultrasonic cleaner is probably the best $100 I've spent in this garage in a long, long time. Just about done here. Also draining the gas tank over there at the same time. I think that's probably enough. That's still the gas tank draining that you hear in the background. Just gonna blow the carb off with some compressed air. I'll save your ears. All right, reassembly time. Looking good. A little spring here on the needle. Just like so. Take the cross pin here. Make sure it captures the float. That seems to be something I struggle with lately. Oop, let me go empty that bin, that fuel bin. And this guy goes in here. Make sure you seat it all the way in. And screw this back in. I think it's just an idle adjustment if I recall. Yeah, it's not like a no load speed or anything. This is a generator, it's always going to run at full speed. So this position I don't think matters a whole lot. Let's put our bowl gasket back on. Really an O-ring. And this bad boy here. There we go, our carb is done. Before you tighten the bowl nut, take note of where the drain is. You don't want this like over here where it's going to be inaccessible. So I have it over here, kind of towards, I guess about like that, towards the, kind of above that emissions box. So to drain the fuel, all we got to do is loosen this 10mm screw right here. All right, wait for that tank to finish draining. We'll reinstall the carb and put some fresh gas and give it a test. Tank is drained. Now let's get everything back together. Oop, a little bit of dripples coming out. Installation is simply the reverse of removal. So let's get the carb back in here. You guys probably can't see this at all, can you? Hopefully that's a bit better. So we gotta get our linkage all set up here. We gotta get our spring. Sometimes the spring is easiest to get back on with a set of needle-nose pliers. There we go. Let's put our fuel line back on. If that leaks, we may have to replace it. Don't think I have any this size though. I normally only stocked a 1/4 inch. This looks like 3/16 or some metric size. There we go. Hopefully that'll do it. Lost our gasket. Very thankful we didn't tear any gaskets and have to replace them. There we go. I think there's a nice grommet here for the fuel line to fit through. What I might do is just, before I button all the California stuff back up, I might just give her a quick test. Make sure we don't have to pull the carb off again. Put our choke lever back on. Did this have to go on before? Yeah, I think I had to do that before the air box went on. That kind of makes sense, right? Make a note. There we go. Just had to loosen it. All right, there we go. Let's dump a little gas in there and see if she runs. Not too much, not too little, just the right amount. This is already stabilized gas, fairly fresh. By stabilizers, that fuel stabilizer in there, Stabil. Great stuff. Let me crack the garage door open and we'll give this thing a yank. All right, here goes nothing. I made sure we have oil. We're good to go there. It looks actually pretty clean oil. I got a test light plugged in on the side. We'll get it going, and if the engine, I can keep the engine running, then we'll turn the test light on and see if it makes power. Without further ado, I guess I need to put gas in it, right? Wow. That's half choke. She's a little sputtery with the choke fully off, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the air cleaner back on. That might put a little bit more resistance on the intake tract, draw a little bit more fuel. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Got the air cleaner reassembled. I'm not optimistic that's going to make a big difference, but Let's give it a shot. Power on. Cord pull. Cord pull. Interesting. That little bit of resistance on the intake tract is what cleared it up. Okay. So carb is good. We can finish putting back together all the California stuff. I'll do that off camera. That's pretty boring. All right, hopefully you guys can make sense of what I was doing there. I just had the generator loaded up with a little wire wheel and then a fan just to see what kind of power it produced. And the power harmonics actually are not horrible on this generator. Unloaded, it was producing like maybe between 2 and 7% total harmonic distortion, probably averaging around 5. It did spike once I turned those appliances on, but that's kind of to be expected, right? But overall, this seems to be a pretty decent generator. I think it'll work out just fine for my neighbor. So I think what I'll do is I'll clean it up, give it back to her. So anyway, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe, stay safe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.